Welcome, brave souls, to our chilling journey through the top 15 haunted cemeteries in Germany. Get ready to step into the shadows of forgotten graveyards, where restless spirits and eerie encounters await. Each of these haunted locations holds stories that will send shivers down your spine as we explore the most terrifying and ghostly sites in Germany. Are you ready to face the unknown? 1. Alter Friedhof, Old Cemetery. Bonn. As night falls over the Alter Friedhof in Bonn, the air grows thick with an unsettling silence. The graves here date back centuries, and it's said that soldiers from long-forgotten battles still wander between the tombstones. One visitor, years ago, recounted seeing a shadowy figure in a tattered uniform standing near an ancient grave. As she approached, the figure seemed to vanish into the earth itself. That night, strange whispers filled her dreams, and ever since, visitors have spoken of the same eerie presence. The soldier, forever bound to the soil, silently standing watch over the fallen. 2. Ohlsdorf Cemetery, Hamburg. Ohlsdorf Cemetery, vast and seemingly endless, hides more than just the resting dead. On cold, misty nights, mourners from the 19th century are said to return, their ghostly forms flickering between trees. A local gravedigger once described seeing a woman in a black veil, crying beside a grave. When he approached to offer help, her sobs ceased, and she turned, revealing hollow eyes. The next morning, there was no sign of her visit, except for a single fresh black rose lying on the tombstone. 3. Weissensee Jewish Cemetery, Berlin. The Weissensee Jewish Cemetery holds thousands of stories, but none more chilling than the tale of the Holocaust victims said to still roam its grounds. Visitors have spoken of sudden cold gusts of wind and a heavy feeling of grief. One young man described hearing soft weeping from deep within the cemetery late at night. Following the sound, he came across a ghostly figure draped in a tattered prayer shawl, crying over an unmarked grave. Before he could move, the figure vanished, leaving only the sound of weeping echoing in his ears. 4. Stnsdorf Southwestern Cemetery, Brandenburg. A dense fog often blankets the Stnsdorf Cemetery at dusk, obscuring the mausoleums and statues. Locals speak of a woman in white who wanders the cemetery, her long gown trailing over the gravel paths. One visitor reported walking along a narrow lane when he saw her at the edge of his vision. As he turned, she glided past him without a sound, her face pale and sorrowful. When he tried to follow, she disappeared behind a row of graves. The next day, a local historian revealed that the woman was believed to be a mourner who died of grief, forever searching for her lost love. 5. Mulheim Cemetery, Berlin. Small and secluded, Mulheim Cemetery may seem unremarkable until the sun sets. It's said that a man in 19th century clothing often appears near the older graves, a lost soul trapped between worlds. One cold winter evening, a man visiting his ancestor's grave noticed a figure in the distance, standing deathly still. As he drew closer, the figure lifted its head, revealing hollow eyes, before vanishing into thin air. Since then, visitors have reported an overwhelming sense of dread when near the same spot, as if something is always watching. 6. Walddorf Cemetery, Munich. Hidden deep within a forest, Walddorf Cemetery is a place where the living are never truly alone. Many visitors have reported hearing footsteps echoing behind them, though no one is there. One man described how, while visiting at twilight, he felt a cold breath on his neck. Turning around, he saw nothing until he glanced at the reflection in a nearby puddle. There, staring back at him, was the faint outline of a figure, cloaked in darkness, its eyes fixed upon him. The man left in haste, vowing never to return after dark. 7. Main Cemetery, Hauptfriedhof, Frankfurt. The Hauptfriedhof in Frankfurt is vast, its paths winding through centuries of graves. Among the trees and tombstones, unmarked graves tell of forgotten souls. One evening, a woman visiting her family's plot noticed a figure standing silently by a nameless grave. She watched as the figure bent down as if mourning, only to vanish as she approached. That night, she dreamt of the same figure, now closer, whispering in a language she did not understand. When she awoke, she could still feel the cold touch of its hand. 8. Melaten Cemetery, Cologne. Melaten Cemetery holds a reputation for its eerie beauty, but beneath the surface lies something darker. A visitor once reported hearing faint laughter echoing through the cemetery at dusk. Following the sound, he found a small, neglected grave where the laughter seemed to originate. As he stood frozen in place, a figure appeared beside him, a child's outline, laughing softly. The figure slowly faded into the shadows, leaving the man shaken, his heart racing, as the air around him grew deathly still. 9. Hilansee Cemetery, Frankfurt. Tucked away in a forgotten forest, Hilansee Cemetery feels untouched by time. One visitor recalled a strange encounter where he felt a chill pass through him near an old crypt. As he approached, a low whisper echoed from within. He leaned closer, peering into the darkness, and saw the shadowy outline of a figure standing just inside. Before he could react, the figure disappeared, leaving only a lingering cold in the air. Locals believe the crypt is haunted by the restless spirit of a priest who vanished mysteriously decades ago. 10. Friedhof Cemetery, Berlin. Friedhof Cemetery, shrouded in age and mystery, is home to the ghost of a woman in mourning. One visitor recounted walking among the older graves when she saw a woman dressed in black, her face hidden behind a veil, kneeling beside a grave. As the visitor approached, the woman looked up, revealing tear-stained cheeks and a sorrowful expression. She spoke no words, but her eyes told of a pain that reached beyond the grave. When the visitor blinked, the woman was gone, leaving only an eerie silence behind. 11. Friedhof Cemetery, Leipzig. The grand architecture of Friedhof conceals a darker truth. Ghostly figures often move among the tombstones, only visible from the corner of your eye. A groundskeeper once saw a shadowy figure moving quickly between the graves as he was closing the gates. When he called out, the figure stopped and turned, revealing glowing eyes before vanishing. That night, he dreamt of the same figure, standing over his bed, its eyes locked onto his, filling him with a cold dread that wouldn't leave even after waking. 12. Friedhof Ohlsdorf, Solingen. At Friedhof Ohlsdorf, visitors have long spoken of a figure dressed in black, wandering among the graves at dusk. One man, while visiting his grandparents' grave, saw this mysterious figure standing in the distance. As he approached, the figure slowly turned and began to walk away, disappearing behind a mausoleum. But when he turned the corner, there was no one there. Locals believe the figure is a woman who lost her entire family in a tragic accident, doomed to search for them in the afterlife. 13. NordFreedHW Cemetery. Munich Friedhof in Munich is known for its dense trees and quiet paths, but those who visit at night speak of a more sinister atmosphere. A woman once described walking through the cemetery at twilight when she felt someone behind her. Turning around, she saw a figure, cloaked in darkness, watching her from the shadows. As she quickened her pace, so did the figure, until it disappeared completely. Shaken, she swore she would never return after dark, afraid of what might be waiting in the shadows. 14. Zentral Friedhof, Friedrichsfelde, Berlin. The Zentral Friedhof. Friedrichsfelde is home to many prominent figures, but it's also known for its ghostly residents. A caretaker once reported seeing flickering lights near the graves late at night. Upon investigating, he saw the faint outlines of figures standing silently in a group, their faces obscured by the darkness. As he approached, the lights went out and the figures were gone. Locals believe these spirits are the restless souls of political figures, forever watching over the graves of their comrades. 15. Kiel War Cemetery, Kiel. Kiel War Cemetery holds the graves of those who died in World War II, and it's said that the spirits of fallen soldiers still wander the grounds. One visitor described walking through the cemetery at dusk when he heard the faint sound of marching boots. Looking around, he saw no one, but the sound grew louder, as if an invisible army was passing by. As quickly as it started, the sound stopped, leaving an eerie silence. Locals believe the soldiers lost in battle continue to march through the cemetery, forever bound to the land they died defending. Thank you for joining us on this bone-chilling tour of Germany's most haunted cemeteries. If these ghost stories sent a chill down your spine, make sure to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Have you experienced anything paranormal? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more spine-tingling adventures. Until next time, stay brave, and remember, the spirits are never too far away.